Hey guys, Rise here. Looks like we are on to set 3 of Khan versus Estro, and Estro has decided to pull out the big guns. That's right, Ryan Shields himself, aka Sangho. Oh my god. Alright, I gotta say it first, I was like, are you serious? You're seriously putting up Sangho against Stork? I mean, for you're down 2-0, and then all right, and then I decided to say, well, let me see how Sangho's been doing lately. Sangho lifetime is like a 40% win rate, but Sangho recently is actually doing pretty good. He's 20 and 14, which it's almost a 2-to-1 win rate there. I mean, that's actually very impressive after I decided to look into it a little bit. So Stork, of course, though, I mean, Stork is just a monster. He's got a 59% win rate, 60% lifetime overall, and so I actually couldn't believe for a minute that they would put anyone up against Sangho. I thought they were actually just going to forfeit. No, I'm just kidding. But Sangho, apparently has been playing well enough where maybe they decided that he was the best chance against Stork. Stork is actually weaker, not weakest, but weaker in his matchup against Protoss. He's weakest against Zerg, but I don't think that Istro has any notable Zergs that they could throw in to actually stand up against Stork. Anyway, even it being his worst matchup, it's still over a 50% win rate, like 53, 54, something like that. So Stork is, he's a monster. He's a player that has finally won gold in, OSL, I think. Yeah, sorry, OSL, tons of silvers. Obviously, a solid player. Not just solid lately, he's consistent forever. I mean, man, he's been consistent since '06, I'd say. And really consistently good. And so they just there's not much you can do when you have a player like Stork to go up against. You just got to hope you can put in a good player, someone who's been playing pretty well lately, which apparently Sangho has been. And that's going to be who they decide to play. And again, we got the split coach view right there. Looks like neither coach is even present at the match. I don't know what the hell they're. It looks like they're watching soap operas. And yeah, all right, let's go on to the match. How about we stop talking about the coaches because they don't do anything. I wonder what the coach actually does. Like, do they sit there with whips and watch like the players play, and when the players like lack on their macro or something, they like whip them or pinch them or cut off a toe. Like maybe none of the StarCraft players actually have any toes. Maybe they've all lost them over battles with their coaches in practice. I don't know. Anyway, it looks like both players are starting off pretty standard. Cybernetic score going down after the gateway and assimilator, of course. Probe scouts checking out the bases. I don't know if I mentioned the colors yet, but Stork is actually the green Protoss player at the 3 o'clock position, 2 o'clock, sorry, 1 o'clock, whatever the clock. It's 3 o'clock now, but he's in the 1 o'clock position. So very interesting connection we have there, and the fact that there's none at all. And Sango, on the other hand, he's in the 7 o'clock position, the orange Protoss player. This is Shades of Twilight, the Byzantium-esque map that has the lowered sunken central area and the lowered sunken main bases that both players play from. So it's actually got a little bit of a feel like oh, what the hell was that other map called? Where they, oh, I can't remember. It's like that ash tile map where they have the sunken bases with the ramp, and then you can just. I can't remember, and it's going to drive me nuts. Someone tell me what the hell that map is. There's the ash tile map, and it's hard to get an expansion. There was always one base Protoss versus one base Protoss, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, this map is obviously not either of those maps. A little bit different. Some different differences in how you can actually get to the other player's base with those ridges, which is actually kind of interesting. Makes for some interesting flanking techniques. We actually just did or I don't know if I did the game or watched the game. I can't remember anymore. It all starts to melt together. But there's multiple ramps to get to that to get to the main strip, and one of the ramps is very large. One of them is much smaller. The main strip being, of course, the strip outside of the main base. And if you're not confused yet, there's plenty more commentary to do that for you. So we'll try to get you there eventually. It's a newer map, but it's starting to have been played a few times now. Let me see how many games have been on it so far. It looks like uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know, like eight or 9, 10, 11, 12, 15 games maybe. I don't know, something like 15 games. And so obviously, we're kind of starting to learn it better and better. The players starting to be able to exploit it a little better and better, and defend those exploits a little better and better. So anyway, it looks like Stork is going to run away with that probe for another day, try to make it back to his base. I don't know if he will or not, but it looks like he's going to try. He's going to get hunted down. He keeps getting caught in the crevices of the terrain, and he gets taken out by Sangho's Melee Dragoon. On the other hand, Sangho trying to get to Stork's base. He's probably going to be very unsuccessful with that. And Stork going to be able to defend that without much of a problem, I would imagine. Looks like Stork has decided to go for Observatory quick first, and then going to Robotics Support Bay for that robotics facility that he has. So I'm going to guess that we're going to see Reavers. That is very typical from players like Stork and most Protoss players today. Occasionally we still see DTs, but overall I'd say that at high-level play, Reavers are more effective. Just because, low-level play, yeah, you can sneak in DTs, do a whole bunch of damage because the low-level player doesn't necessarily catch it. Stork already has observers out, so obviously that's not going to work. And high-level play in general, he's going to see it coming a mile away at most cases, unless the tech is hidden very well and the player doesn't give any clues away of what he might be going. So Stork is going to definitely go Reavers, I think. And I think Sango is also going to go Reavers. I think Sango actually has an expansion going as well. Of course, I haven't been paying attention entirely as I keep going back and forth to maps and stuff. And Stork's base is still building, but Sangho's is completed. So Sangho is actually going to be mining much sooner than Stork at that expansion. Going to give himself the economic advantage if he can hold off any attacks coming from Stork. Stork, though, of course, is scouting this. He sees that expansion. He sees exactly what's going on. He's got that observer out. And now he's starting to come up with, starting to formulate his plan of attack, how he's going to do some damage here. And there's a robotics facility down with a support bay first. So it looks like Sango has gone both the route of trying to get the fast expansion and then the very fast Reavers following that expansion rather than going for observers. Two-gate obs is very, very typical safe play. And Stork being the better player, it's very typical that we're seeing that from him. Stork now is at Reaver out and a second observer. Wow, I'm a little surprised at the second observer, but it looks like he's a little bit worried of some attacks coming his way. Sorry, I needed some water, and I don't have a commentator to pass the game off to, so I just got to keep going. Reaver is now out for Sangho, so both players actually fairly even with the exception of the fact that Sangho had that base going up sooner. So right now, I'd actually say that Sangho is probably a little bit ahead. Citadel of Dune, though, going down for Stork. So it looks like Stork may be a little bit further ahead in terms of tech, and now it looks like he's going to be going for the High Templar route. I don't think that he's going to go DTs still. He may have one or two in the mix, but it won't be his main mode of attack, nor will it be his main mode of harassment in most likelihood, because really, at this point in the game, it's very late. DTs are most effective when rushed in or when you get a good drop of them in the back of the base and there are no observers or whatever. So, of course, you see that in Zerg play. You take out the observing units, the overlords, and with Corsairs, and that's why there's the Corsair DT build in the first place. And then you can start chopping away the tech or the more likely the economy of the other player. But here, it's much more difficult as a Protoss player because observers are much more difficult to take out when it's a PvP because you don't have something like Corsairs to take them out. Because first, you can't find them without another observer of your own. So it's just not a very viable strategy to try to execute. It would be very, resource intensive for what? Maybe the chance of taking out a couple of observers when only a cannon would work in its place. So again, it's not going to be a build that we see likely later in the game in PvPs, sorry, but it's possible. And look at this, Sango going in, and he's going to lose his shuttle right away. Reaver goes down, but is it going to dud? I don't know. I think it did. I don't think it got anything. It looks like it's going to get. Oh, he does get a bunch of probes, but 3 probes is not worth it. DT is out on the field, by the way. All right, so we'll have to see if Stork decides to do anything with that. Sango, though, taking heavy losses. Oh, my God, he lost a shuttle and a Reaver. Took out 3 probes. No real harassment done in the grand scheme of things. And Stork is now putting down another expansion, which is being scouted. But it's going to be very difficult for Sango to do anything about it. Why? Because he just lost his main tech force right there of a Reaver and a shuttle. Well, he's still got another Reaver. Stork has 2 Reavers. He's got Templar. He's got DTs. Now he's got the gamut of the PvP tech that we like to see out in PvP matches. So really, Sango, tech-wise, is way behind. And economy-wise, he's still even. If anything, he's technically still ahead, except for the fact that Stork's going to have that expansion up soon. As soon as that expansion's up, it's going to be behind it. Stork going to hunt down an observer, looks like.